Thank you very much for inviting me to be amongst you today. I heard Martin, I heard Hillick, I heard the Chief of Staff of the White House. We all know how to make peace. We all know there's going to be two states on 1967 lines. As Hillick said, and I agree with Martin, many drafts were done. How come we don't have an agreement? Why? This reminded me of a joke. A Palestinian and Israeli go to see a Western movie, cowboy. And then at the beginning of the movie, the star is really riding fast on his horse. And as usual, the Israeli look at the Palestinian, provocative, and tells him $20. He will fall from the back of his horse in 1 minute. And the Palestinian, without thinking, you're on. So in 59 seconds, the star is down. So the Palestinian gets the $20 to give to the Israeli, and the Israeli conscience, guilt, no, I cannot take it. The Palestinian is angry. You won, take it. And the Israeli is saying, I cannot take it. I cannot cheat you. I've seen this movie before. So the Palestinian goes to him, what do you think? I also saw it, but I thought he would learn from his mistakes. And we should learn from our mistakes. We should not allow Palestinian and Israeli leaders to export fear for us. Leaders are supposed to create hope. Leaders are supposed to tell people what they should hear, not what they like to hear. Leaders are supposed to provide life and future for their people. Well, I've known Mr. Netanyahu for 31 years. And when I'm asked openly about Israeli elections, Hillick, I always say, I don't interfere in Israel's domestic affair. You know what? If you sneeze in Tel Aviv, I get the flu in Jericho. That's the truth. And I know I hear some Israelis say we don't have a partner. We have to wait to create the right atmosphere. Let's see what goes in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, whatever. Congo, maybe it has a relation. To these people, if Mother Teresa were to be the president of the Palestinians, Montesquieu to be the speaker of the Palestinians, and Thomas Jefferson to be the prime minister of the Palestinians, and for them to say two states on 1967, they will not be partners, they will be terrorists, and they will be boycotted. I did not wake up one morning and felt my conscience aching for the Israelis that I sit with them. And I don't believe that the Israelis woke up one morning and felt their conscience aching for my suffering that they sit with me. I'm doing it because it's the most cardinal interest need for Palestinians. No one stands to gain more peace more than Palestinians, and no one stands to lose more of the absence of peace more than Palestinians. We have recognized the state of Israel, right to exist and live in peace and security on the 1967 lines. This stands. My option is a two-state solution. My only option is a two-state solution for the state of Palestine to live in peace and security next to the state of Israel on the 1967 lines. There is no such a thing as a one-state solution, for a solution requires two parties. It cannot happen. Yes, there is a one-state reality. And if Mr. Netanyahu tells me that my state is not going to be on his watch, what are you going to do with me? I swear to God, Christian and Muslim Palestinians will not convert to Judaism and become Israelis. And Jews will not convert to Christianity and Islam and become Palestinians. What are you going to do with me? If you say it's not in your watch, a Palestinian state that is, that means you're creating a one-state reality. And you know what the one-state reality for me as a Palestinian means? Means what's happening today. There are roads in the West Bank I cannot use as a Palestinian. Only Israelis can use. Occupation corrupts. We have to stand tall to end this occupation. Such diseases as bigotry and racism, once it inflicts underneath our skin, we have tended to justify it. All of us. All of us. Today, we have a Palestinian leadership headed by President Mahmoud Abbas, who have recognized the state of Israel right to exist in peace and security on the 1967 lines. We have realized that Benjamin Netanyahu is not a two-stater. He's not. And that's why we thought to ourselves, what do we do in order to preserve the two-state solution? So we went to the United Nations. Americans opposed us. And they told us, you derail our efforts. A two-state solution can only be reached by negotiations. And you said he needs a tent? My God, I have so many refugee camps, I can provide him with many tents. So he said, the Palestinians are undermining the peace process because they went to the UN and passed the resolution. You know what the resolution said? The resolution specified that a state of Palestine will live in peace and security side by side the state of Israel on the 1967 lines. I had hoped that Israelis will go hand in hand with me to the UN to do this. That is the two-state solution. We're being fought because we're signing on conventions to preserve women's rights, to preserve freedoms. That's the Palestine we envision. Palestine will be a country of freedom, democracy, human rights, women's rights. We cannot do otherwise. We know the difficulties we're going through. We know that in order to achieve a Palestinian state, we must get it, that we're going to have one authority, one gun, and rule of law. Hamas is a Palestinian political party. We're divided. And if we don't help ourselves as Palestinians, no one else will. We tell Hamas when we differ, we resort to ballots, not bullets. And when we establish a state, we're going to have one authority, one gun, and the rule of law. We have a long way to go. We commit many mistakes. Not because we wake up every morning and we say, today we're going to commit these following mistakes. We're a young authority. We're learning. We're crawling sometimes. The complexities we're facing are enormous. The challenges are enormous. Today, it's the 4th month we are unable to pay salaries. So to you, Mr. Netanyahu, I would tell you very frankly in this occasion, we are not sustainable as a Palestinian authority anymore. If that's what you're seeking, to keep us an authority without an authority, and you want your occupation to be cost-free, sir, if you don't get your act together, you will be invited to resume your occupation powers fully. You will be responsible for everything between the River Jordan and the Mediterranean. We cannot We cannot sustain ourselves anymore. We have exercised every patience there is and given chances. And from here, I would like to say thank you, President Obama. Thank you, John Kerry. Thank you, Martin Indyk. No president, and I've been with these negotiations, no president, no Secretary of State have invested and done to Palestinians and Israelis more than John Kerry and President Obama. That is the truth. But President Obama and John Kerry will not be able to make decisions that are only required of Palestinians and Israelis. It's us, not Obama, not Kerry. It's us that will make the decisions. And as Palestinians, we have made our decision to live and let live. I don't want my son to be a suicide bomber. I want my son to be like your children, the physician, the musician, the soccer player, the writer, the teacher, the educator. Israelis and Palestinians are normal people. We are like you in the United States, like Nigerians, like Nicaraguans, like Biafrans, like anyone. We're not perfect. And we have a tendency to allow some people to export fear to us. And this must stop. This must stop. Our conflict is a political one. It's over territories. It's over statehood. Our conflict is not a religious one. Judaism to us as Palestinians is not a threat, is an asset. It's one of God's great religions like Christianity and Islam. We are destined to live together, side by side. I had hoped and prayed that the Israeli people will elect those who will take me as their neighbor, their partner, their equal. I was 12 years old when the occupation came to my hometown, Jericho. Next month, I'm 60. I'm a grandfather of 6. I will not give up. I will do everything in my power to maintain and sustain the two-state solution. Not for Israel, but for my grandchildren. And today, more than any time before, the world should not be divided between those who are pro-Israel and those who are pro-Palestinians. The world and our world should be divided between those who are pro-peace and those who are against peace, and those who believe in peace must believe in the two-state solution as the only option. A Palestinian state to live side by side, the state of Israel in peace and security on the 1967 line. That is our promise, that's our destiny, that's our future, that's our courage, that's our hope, and I thank you very much.